Hello and welcome to the third round of the 944 Porsche Challenge Cup, presented to you by Aluminium Industries for this round. Thanks for joining us on Blendline TV. We've got a huge action-packed show ahead of us, but first we've got a few interviews, so let's kick things off by having a chat to Anthony Westaway, Club President for 944 Challenge, about his weekend and what it takes to go racing in this category.
Well, look, you can buy a car quite cheaply. They're in, anywhere from the mid-20s, and that'll get you a very competitive car. And look, if you're a good driver, you'll be up the top of the field with, a medium performance car. You'll be in the top 10. There is a couple of levels within the group. The front runners, probably spend a bit more money than the rest of the guys that are racing, but it's all about having a good time. And a lot of guys do the work themselves on the car, so it's a cheap form of motorsport for them. Well, it's been a bit of a rush. I don't do practice or anything like that. I only turn up on the day. So here, 7 o'clock this morning, unload from the trailer. Everything from changing the tyres around to washing the car first thing on the Saturday morning. I always like to finish within the top 10, and look, it's going okay at the moment. The qualifying session was good. A couple of the guys up front have done some sensational times, and we changed the brand of tyres or the style of tyre we've been using, and that's made them go quite a bit quicker. But I think the rest of us will catch up, and just very competitive. There's probably only second and a half over the top 10 people. Yeah. I don't particularly have sponsors. I sponsor myself in there, but I'd like to thank the people who put on the race meeting more than anything, because there's a lot of scrutineers and also the flag staff and things like that come out, and that's what makes it affordable for us, because they keep those costs down.
A young driver having a good start to the year is Harrison Emery. We sat down with the Sabrec driver to have a chat about Sandown this weekend and what his goals are for the 2014 season.
Yeah, season's good. Car's been alright. It's just we're getting a lot of entries and everything, so it's been a good start so far. As I said, the car's last round of Phillip Island car's really good. This round it's not as good so far. We'll see what happens, but all in all, it's always a good season with the 944 boys. So yeah, so far we struggled a little bit yesterday with a couple of bits and pieces, but all in all, I love Sandown. It is a local track for us, and most of the competitors, so it is classified as a bit of a cheaper round. So we've gone and thrown tyres on the car and a couple other bits and pieces, so yeah, it should be good. I'm looking forward to race one soon. So I was qualified in 9th, I think, out of 20 entries so far. So if I can get a couple the first race and making the top 5, I'd be happy enough with that. But ultimately a podium would be great, but we'll see. Yeah, obviously the sponsors Sabrec, which is my old man, Bez Fab, they do race car fabrication, Aluminium Industries for sponsoring the event, and obviously the 944 Association put on a really good show.
Category stalwart Ross Miller has gained momentum in 2014, a few car changes leading to good results.
Yeah, made a couple of changes at Phillip Island the last round, sort of low ride height of the car, and sort of picked up a couple of seconds, which is a PB. Had no real major car issues, but weekend's young, so all good. Qualified a little bit off the pace. Started 18th on the grid, but should be a good race. Looking for obviously a lot better result than that. But we'll wait and see. I'd like to obviously get inside the top 10. But as we all know, 944s is great bunch of guys, great drivers, and a lot of good up and coming drivers. And obviously my sponsors Carter Grange Homes, being obviously my teammate Danny Studdard, and gives me a hand. Obviously we use his factory net for car setup, and his brother Peter, who's Peter Studdard, who's our spanner and does a fantastic job. And also like our sponsors, like this weekend's Aluminium Industries, is Jim Gallagher, great guy, obviously a fellow competitor, fierce competitor as well, and it's good that he stuck his hand up and gave us a little bit of support.
At the other end of the spectrum, as if defending a championship wasn't enough, Chris Lewis Williams has added the extra dimension of a new car for season 2014.
We had a great year last year, 16 out of 18 race wins, some lap records, lots of poles, so that was the old car, the right-hand drive car, and we wanted a challenge for ourselves, so we built a left-hand drive car. Yeah, it's good. We built a new car this year. Spent a lot of time over Christmas trying to build the pristine 944 Challenge car, and the boys at High Talk have done a ripper job. It's a really nice car. We're able to maintain our other car, so we've got rental customers now and trying to introduce people to the series. So we're learning the car, but we're getting faster. We got pole today, so it's the first time I've been pole in 2014. So we're getting good, getting quicker. Yeah, just continue learning the car, learning what the car likes, finding grip. They're a great little car for the money. They stop and they turn really well. Not heaps of horsepower, but it means we race really close, and performance per dollar, it's a great series to get into. Great stepping stone for somebody out of go-karts or do club days and things like that, to get into motor racing without having to spend heaps of money. Still, motor racing costs money, but it's a very affordable class to do. Yeah, look, I've had some great sponsors through my work. Rocket Digital, again, the guys at High Torque Performance, we've had a sort of 4 or 5 year relationship, constantly developing the cars and making them go faster. The series has got some great sponsors with Yokohama and a Porsche part. Again, some work sponsors with me, with G-Floor. So yeah, you try and gather the money where you can, because we just want to go racing.
There you have it, a few insights into what it takes to go racing and the season so far for this great Porsche 944 category. Taking a look at some of the race one highlights, and it was Mercedes, Mills and Lewis Williams who got the jump away from the field. The two guys in second and third though, passing Lewis Williams on the run down into turn one, but that would be about as far as it got before chaos was unleashed on the field. As the guys touched into turn one, you can see the smoke going up there, and as we go on board with Harrison Imre, just look at the way he goes down the inside of one. Unfortunately, the guys all tumbling into each other there. Stanek in the front of it in that yellow car. Bella unfortunately making contact with him. We see an onboard now with Jim Gallagher, and just look at the way, unfortunately, it just pushed cars all over the field. Luckily, there wasn't more damage involved. Great driving from a fair few of the drivers further down the field. Having a look on board with Cameron Bella here, and you can just see it was just a domino effect across the front. Unfortunately for Bella though, damage to the front of the car. Stanek would continue, but damage for Bella, and you can just see here as we look further back onto the back straight, he got in the line and then just the wind ripped the front up, and that would put the end to his race. Unfortunate for him, he'd be back out for race 2. But further in front, these guys were all battling hard for position. A few of the Porsches mixed in with the saloon cars here, you can see as the guys run wide onto the dirt, all pushing each other. You can see Imre and Stanek there trying to make their way back forward to the front. He's on board with Imre. He was doing a great job coming forward. Stanek following him through, but Harrison just had that much more pace in the Sabrette car, doing really well and putting on a great show for the crowd. As he goes down the inside of the Aftermarket Industries Porsche on his right there. That's the one of Gallagher. As the guys come around for another lap, you can just see that there's just no holds barred racing for all the beginning of the race. Here's Gallagher making his way forward. He was doing well as well. Unfortunately for him though, not quite with the pace of the front runners, and had to settle for a midfield position. As we take a look back at the front, and you can just see, look at how close these guys are. Lewis Williams trying to line up the move down into turn one. He gets to the inside and start to make it stick, but then unfortunately, as we go on board with him here, you'll see in a second, locks the front left brake and flies himself off the road. Would rejoin at turn 3, just ploughing across the grass as we've seen so many drivers do before. Just put the foot down and come out at turn 3, watching to his left, making sure he wasn't rejoining dangerously, but unfortunately for him, that would lose him 2 positions. He'd end up in 3rd place. As we take a look further down at the guys here, you can see Miller and Gallagher in a battle as well. They were in a race-ending battle for this one. Unfortunately for Gallagher, locked a brake in the same place as Lewis Williams and flung himself off. That would cause him to retire from the race. A few dramas with the car. He wasn't able to restart. It happening on the last lap. And just look at this. Lewis Williams trying his best to get back past Mills on the run to the line. He would not make it though, and would have to settle for 3rd place. So having a look at our top 5 after the race, and it's Mercer leading home Mills, Lewis Williams, Finn and Smith rounding out the top 5. We'll be back after the break with more action on Blendline TV. Welcome back to the Porsche 944 Challenge presented by Aluminium Industries here on Blendline TV. And taking a look now at some of the race 2 highlights, and you can see yet again Lewis Williams went backwards off the start, falling into the clutches of the guys further back down the field, leaving it to Mills and Mercerka to battle it out at the head of the field down into turn 1. The guys going side by side down here, neither wanting to give an inch. Smith on the inside of Lewis Williams there, you can see behind as Williams settled into 5th place. Unfortunately, yet again, not everyone would make it through the first corner, with Benton Grove looping his Porsche and Anthony Westaway lucky to get away without any contact there. We'll have a look at Anthony's onboard just in a second as we line it up here. And you can see the field running through turn 3. Everybody then starting to settle into a rhythm. And here's on board with Anthony Westaway. Just look at that. Benton Grove there to the right. How lucky was he there? The saloon car giving a little bit of room. and luckily for Westaway, he was able to continue on in this race. Looking further down the race, and Anthony Westaway was all over the back of the saloon cars that he'd lost positions to earlier on. Unfortunately, getting stuck in a freight train, which often happens here at Sandown Raceway, where this guy's all, of course, with about the same amount of power under the bonnet. Though somebody with pace under the bonnet was in fact Harrison Imre, making his way forward from the rear of the grid. And you can see he got past Studdard there, then he passed Bella, Petrusic and Howe before the end of the lap. And a static lap in the middle of the race for Imre, and he was really finding some pace. You can see him here up the inside of Howe, down into turn 2. This was probably the first of two major race-changing moments in the race. Miskeres and Lewis Williams coming to blows into turn 1, locking wheels. That forced Miskeres into the wall, and then just look at this, Imre getting past Howe, finishing that move we saw earlier, and Howe, I guess, getting a little bit excited, trying to battle Imre, and you'll see coming out of turn 3, just lights up the rears a bit too much, and around he goes, straight into the wall on the inside. Quite a hard hit on the Porsche, and unfortunately he would see no further part in the race. Not a great end for him. And then here you go, a look at the onboard with Lewis Williams, and you can see there, locking wheels, that fired Misarasha into the wall and unfortunately put an end to his race meeting. The car suffering too much front end damage. Another car suffering damage was Static. He had to pull off at the far end of the circuit actually. And for him, no more part in race 2. He'd be back out later on in the afternoon. Jim Gallagher was having a great run in the Aluminium Industries car, getting up and battling with Miller in front of him and a couple of the guys, including Westaway behind. Westaway finding some pace, but unfortunately for Gallagher, straight off at Dandenong Road. He locked a front left brake coming in. I think a little bit of an unbalance in the car. You can see here, turns it in and straight off, a little bit of oversteer through the gravel trap. He'd rejoin and finish the race, but well down, unfortunately for him. That left Westaway and Miller to battle for position. Miller feeling all sorts of pressure as Westaway battled all over the back. The Carter Grange car having to really withstand a lot. As you can see, they moved their way through the traffic in the closing laps of the race. Westaway didn't want to give up on position. He was high up in the field and he was sensing a lot of speed in the car. Of course, we spoke to him earlier and he does not partake in the Friday practice, which means he spends a lot of time developing throughout the year. Then throughout the weekend, and then onto the final lap, and you can just see Mills here with Lewis Williams all over the rear of him. These two battling hard for position in the late stages of the race on the final lap, and Lewis Williams was not giving an inch, tapping on the back of Mills, and then suddenly coming down into Dandenong, you see here just later on the brakes, gives a slight nudge to Mills, and that fires him off into the sand. Unfortunately for Mills, he'd be stuck there and unable to complete the race. Registered as a DNF, leaving Lewis Williams to take what was, I guess, a fairly comfortable victory over Brian Finn there behind. On board here with Lewis Williams, and you can just see coming into Dandenong Road, just holds off on getting on the brake, and unfortunately pushes Mills off. That gave him the victory. So it was Lewis Williams leading home, Finn, Stannard, Imre and Smith rounding out the top 5. A great result there for Lewis Williams, getting back to the front, though I think it'll be talked about for a little while yet, that race victory. There you have it, 2 races. Now taking a look at race 3, and yet again for the 3rd time, Lewis Williams unfortunately not getting a great start. And just look at this field, 4 wide across the front straight. Stoddard down the inside, Finn and Imre all there, and the rest of the field piling in behind. Here we go into turn 1, and Finn has run wide. Stoddard's into Imre, and across the front of the field goes Imre. Geez, he was lucky not to be collected by anybody further. Stoddard, it looks like, has sustained some damage, and the big winners out of this are Prestritz and Buller. The world has opened up in front of them for those two. The green car and the black car you can see there. Lewis Williams lucky to avoid contact and get himself to the front. And you can just see Imre, it looks like, with a bit of a tyre rub as he continues his way up the back straight. On board now with Jim Gallagher, who probably would not be able to believe what was happening in front of him there for the 3rd race in a row. He's had to avoid the carnage. Lucky that Aluminium Industries car has managed to keep away from it, and he's up inside the top 10 right now as we speak, so he's looking forward to a good result. Lewis Williams starting to run away with this race already. We're only 3/4 of the way around the first lap, coming to the final few corner complex, and just look at the lead he already has over Petrusic. Petrusic holding off Bella. It looks like Bella may well try to have a run on him on here onto the front straight. Looks like the Aqua car has got a bit of power in a straight line. We'll see here as he tucks into the draft. Let's see if he can manage to get past. No, he's not going to do it. It looks like Smith behind him is now holding off Emre as well. So Emre's managed to get himself back in line. Lucky not to go round. Probably helped by Studdard there, who rammed into the side of him. Unfortunate for Studdard, but lucky for Emre as he now, yes, there he is, locking onto the back of Smith. So we've got a 4-car battle for second place heating up. This one is going to go down to the wire. And we've also got, it looks like Westaway coming into the back of shot there as well. So there's 5 cars. Whoa, a huge slide for Emre round the turn 4. Lucky for him managing to hold it on the road. He'd be sick of going sideways in this race as we go back on board with Anthony Westaway in the 50 car. He's further down the field looking for his way through. He's had a few issues in race 2. You can see Brian Finn there off to the left. So he has not gone any further than the back straight on the first lap. Our first retirement for the weekend, for the race. And he is not going to take any further part in this one as we go down to Dandenong Road. It looks like Smith has managed to get past Bella on the run up the back straight. So Smith takes over 3rd place. Bella now back to the inside. What great motor racing from these two, giving each other room. Different power, strengths and weaknesses of these cars, and you can just see the way they're working around this Sandon Park track today. Bella all over the back of Smith now. He's got to try to find a way past and not let Festruich get too far away. And it looks like who's the rest of those field coming through. On board with Imre, he's behind Westaway. He's going to try to get him down the inside here in the turn 1, you can expect. Imre has had a lot of speed this weekend, so we've got to look for him to use it. He was reveling going to be starting from the in front of the field for once now in the weekend. And here he goes, up the inside of Westaway. He's going to make it stick. Late braking. A lot of understeer through the corner, but he gets there. And this is looking like it's going to give Anthony Westaway a chance on the outside of Michael. No, he sits in behind Discretion, the better part of Val, around the outside at turn 2. You're not always going to make it work around there. And taking a look a little bit further down the field, and this is Gallagher and Katrina battling for position. These guys just outside the top 10, still putting down some pretty impressive lap times. Not that far off the leaders, just losing ground slightly each lap. There's a lot of smoke in that shot there on the back straight, and it looks like, yes, Danny Studdard looks like he's the cause of that smoke. A little bit of a slide through the corner. I'd say that's oil being dropped from the Carter Grange car. He's got damage to the front right-hand corner, which we saw was the case of that collision in turn 1 when the guys all went too deep. Lewis Williams, the only one backing out of that. And it looks like now there's a problem with that car. He probably won't make it much further without being black flagged. You can see that he's causing a bit of oil onto the ground for the rest of the guys there behind. Bella and Imre especially in the smoke cloud. Look at this from Harrison Imre's Sabrek car. You can just see the smoke billowing from behind that Carter Grange car. Though it doesn't seem to have slowed him down in pace. He looks like he's making a move down the inside of Smith. Yes, Smith to the right there, so you can see he's got the job done. So it's not affecting Stoddart at the moment. This is second car for his weekend after he did a bit of damage to his regular car. And so unfortunately for him, it looks like damage to 2 cars, and just look at that thing sliding through the corners. Definitely oil going down. I don't think he's going to last much longer in this race. But we'll be back after the break with the Run to the Flag on Blendline TV. Welcome back to the Victorian Porsche 944 Challenge presented by Aluminium Industries here on Blendline TV. Action down throughout the field in this one, and look at this as Gallagher and Petrusic run side by side into turn 1, and Miller decides he's going to take an opportunistic move to the inside of the two of them. Unfortunately not quite making that one stick, but here we go onto the run to turn 2, and Gallagher is the big loser out of that one. Looked like he was going to make the move, and then Mills has swooped door handle to door handle. They've touched through turn 2. Here we go to turn 3, and Gallagher gets the position back. Great motor racing there between those 3 guys in the Porsches, and Mills again getting the hip and shoulders from somebody giving him a bit of body work to nudge out of the way, so he'll have to settle in and try to get the position back a little bit later on. Westwood here in the Westway Ford car as he's following on, making his way back through after a little bit of losing ground with a few guys. And you can see that he's putting in some good speed at the moment, starting to make a run and just trying to hold on to the finish line now. Back at the front, and it's Lewis Williams. He has a very comfortable lead, leading the field by a good couple of seconds. Just look at how easy he's making it. very smooth and comfortable behind the wheel, adapting to that left-hand drive, you'd have to say quite well. Here he goes down into turn 1. Very different to see him on the other side of the car. That's probably the biggest talking point about this car. As he said in his interview early on, the guys have built a new car for a new challenge, and you'd have to say he's getting his head around that challenge very well. Lewis Williams about to take his second race victory for the weekend on the final lap now. Down the back straight for the final time. He's made it look easy as the rest of the field has fallen away here. Just look at how big his gap is after that turn 1 incident. Lucky to get away with that one, so he's had a bit of luck on his side as well. Probably lucky not to get something from the officials into race 2 after that incident. But I guess, you know, them are the brakes, and he has managed to get away in front and make it work for him. So down into Dandenong corner for the last time. That car looks very planted, very comfortable on the road as he comes out of the corner, putting the power down. Very comfortable in front. Here he comes, Lewis Williams first, Daylight second. He's made it look easy from the front, taking his second victory. This will put him back in the top of the championship. So our 2013 champ is starting to mount his charge for the 2014 title as well, coming across the line for a comfortable victory. So there you have it, Lewis Williams leading home, Imre, Bella, Westerway and Smith rounding out the top 5. There you go, Lewis Williams leads Misaracha, Stanek and Smith rounding out the top 4. I caught up with Lewis Williams after the race to get his thoughts. So after 3 races, the one coming out on top is Lewis Williams. Chris, 2 race victories and a 3rd place. How does that feel this weekend?
It's a good result. You know, we've been working hard with the new car, and we found some pace this weekend, put on pole, had a challenge in race 1 and came 3rd, and then got through the field and won the last 2. So yeah, it was a good weekend.
You've been talking a lot about your developing this new car this year. It's a pretty brave step to try to defend the championship with a new car. How do you feel it's running in now?
We're not quite there. The pace is good. It's biggest change is from right-hand drive to left-hand drive. So it's not home yet, but it's getting a lot closer. As long as you can race comfortably and set the lap times, we're going to be okay.
So I guess there's a few more rounds left in the season. What's your plans from here?
Just continue to develop, find pace, make sure we've got good grip and be up the front. And if I got a bad start in the last race. I was 4th into the first turn. The first 3 guys took themselves out, and I got some nice footage for you. So you just got to race smart, race hard, and the results will come.
Well, congratulations on another great race victory.
Thank you very much. Thanks to all my sponsors, to Rocket, to the guys at HTP. Aluminium Industry sponsored us this weekend so we could be on your show. So we look forward to seeing ourselves on telly. It's going to be a bit of fun. And look forward to next race, which is back here in a month.
Well, there you go, all the action from the Porsche 944s this weekend at Sandown Motor Raceway. Thanks for joining us on Blendline TV. Make sure you tune in next time for all the action of round 4.